Hey, have you ever found yourself at a point where you say, man, we need to promote this event coming up? Oh, my goodness, we got something going on this fall. January's coming. We got to promote. You find yourself just spinning your wheels. Promote this. Wouldn't it be great if you could actually have a 12-month plan together that could actually walk you step by step through the whole essence of marketing your church? There are great things happening in your church, and you need to communicate it to those outside your church. Stay tuned to this episode of Church Tips, and we're going to talk about that exactly. Hey, it's great to be with you on this episode of Church Tips. We are glad to be with my friend Ryan Wakefield, the wild man.
That's a first.
Is that what Amy calls you?
No, that's a first. Episode 62.
It
took 62 episodes, but I made it.
That's right. Well, Ryan is the founder of Church Marketing University. And
co-founder with you.
Jonathan. We were involved with that in the beginning, weren't we?
You guys were really involved.
Yeah, and then we get booted, and he takes it, blows the thing up here. But Ryan's done a great job with Church Marketing University. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, you want to do so. And we're going to talk about some very specific things today relative to how you can really put together a 12-month plan for your church in terms of communicating the good that's happening inside your church to those outside your church. But why don't we give them a little quick snapshot? You've got a conference coming up here in just a few days on the 29th and 30th.
Yep.
So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, in fact, that's what we're going to do at the conference is come together 2 days all online and work on churches putting together their 12-month marketing plan.
Okay, yeah.
So The whole goal of the conference, it's a different kind of conference. The goal is to help churches walk away with stuff checked off their to-do list, not more stuff on it. Yeah. So it's all about implementation. I think it's going to be the feedback that we've got of the direction we're going, pastors like, yes, that's what we need. We need inspiration, encouragement. We need a lot of help implementing this. We don't need more ideas that never get done. Yeah. We need a plan that's going to actually translate into results. Yeah. And that's what this is all focused on.
No, that's cool. And we're privileged. Jonathan and I are both privileged to be part of it, one small part along the way, where we're talking about the development of leaders, volunteers and leaders to actually help make this happen. Yep. So talk to us a little bit about that whole concept of developing a 12-month plan, because a lot of pastors be out there saying, well, hey, I got an event coming up. I want to market it. Yeah. Well, if it's going to be done right, it's got to be way more than that. So what's a little bit of the genesis of that, Ryan?
Yeah, and one of the pushbacks we get right now during the season we're in is like, who can plan 12 months out? You know? And I think the great philosopher Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Right. And I feel like the church world, we kind of got punched in the face. Yeah. But at the same time, I would like to throw out there a converse kind of statement to Mike Tyson's like, when you get punched in the face, you're sure glad you had a plan for the occasion.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, when we started CMU, we worked together on an assessment where we had, I think over now, getting close to 5,000 churches fill it out because we wanted to find out what are growing churches doing different than plateaued or declining churches. Yeah. One of the things that we identified in that assessment we did together was growing churches plan farther out. Mm-hmm. Typically, if you're planning 30, 60, 90 days, you're way more likely to be a growing church. And I think part of that is because
versus somebody who's just trying to go week to week.
Yeah, trying to survive. Yeah. And that honestly, that's kind of one of the angles we're doing with the conference is how do we move churches from, hey, we're just surviving to now we're like thriving, we got a plan. Yeah. And so because if you have more time and you have a plan, you have more time to get the word out. Yeah. And to do some things that we talk about inside Church Marketing University to help share the good news with more people. But you got to kind of get a plan in place to do that so you can get these things, these tools.
Yeah, and one of the things I've appreciated about what CMU has done, what you have done, is this is not specific. This isn't big church stuff. This is you do the gamut. Small church, medium-sized church, large church. Yep. That whole planning concept is very real and is going to make the difference for churches.
Yeah, we got a lot of church planners right now that, they're planning in this crazy time and they're like, man, we understand we've got to use all these new tools. We have no other option. We don't have, a congregation that we've ever met in person. So a lot of church planners right now. But yeah, anybody who's looking for it and saying, and I think biblically we look at this kind of phrase, make the most of every opportunity. Yeah. So that's what we want to do. We want to look at your calendar year and you want to say, okay, how do we make the most out of every opportunity that we have coming up to share the good news, reach people in our community, see more visitors coming every single week? And so that's what CMU does. That's what the conference is going to do. And so churches are going to walk away with this plan. Like, how do you go and make the most of January? How do you start a year strong? Because looking at the data, if a church starts January strong, that momentum infuses all throughout the calendar year. Yeah. But if January is a dud, sometimes you just are behind. Momentum, like the wind it feels like you're running into the wind. And so it's like, man, if we can show you how to make the most of January, you're going to have momentum going into Easter, which then that momentum, we need to take that into Mother's Day. Right. And then we need to do some strategic things over the summer.
You can actually for the fall.
Yeah. And then it just keeps going.
Cycle around.
Yep.
So if a pastor is going, again, the conference is September 29th and 30th, and we've got a link here in the show notes for you to jump onto that. And it's Leaders.Church/conference. And if you just go to Leaders.Church/conference, or then get it in the show notes, you're going to be able to jump right in. And the cost on the conference is?
You can get free tickets.
Free tickets. Ryan Wakefield gives you free tickets.
And we recommend, man, go through this together as your team.
Okay.
Block off those days. Go through it together as your team, because, again, every hour that you put in watching the content, like you said, you guys are doing a session. We pray it's 2 to 4 hours off your to-do list.
Yeah.
So block it off. Go through it with your team. And again, you will walk away fired up. You'll walk away with confidence about your plan. And then you'll walk away with the tools that you need to implement the plan.
Okay, here's a question. Don't know the answer to it, so we'll see if I get in trouble asking it. Is it time, date sensitive? So if you're going to watch Dick and Jonathan Hardy on the Leaders, you got to watch that at 1 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, or can they catch it whenever they want?
Yes and yes.
Oh, thank you. There we go.
The live experience is going to be your best way to enter the conference, because it's really going to be a conversation. We are really, really big on community conversation, not just one-way information. That's my pet peeve with a lot of conferences. It's like a lot of great one-way information, but there's no conversation, there's no community, there's no dialogue and application implementation. So big on community. So if you can make it to the live experience, you're going to get the most out of the conference. But when you get your free ticket through that link, you're also going to get a conference dashboard. The replays are going to be available there for a week. We've got So
that's just for the next week they're available?
Yeah. So from the 29th and 30th, they'll have a week to just jump in if they have to miss a session. And then we've got a workbook in there. It's a 60-page workbook that helps you with notes and implementation. Yeah, we spent way too much time. But
it's pretty good, right?
I'm proud about it, because I've got to back up my word that everything is designed to help a church actually implement these ideas.
You can do it. You can actually do this. So, again, I'm telling you, small church, medium-sized church, large church, you can do the kind of thing that Ryan has talked about in here.
Yep, and I think my goal is when people experience the sessions, when they see the amount of planning and the amount of emphasis on helping a church actually implement it, I hope it's going to be jaw-dropping. I really think it will. I think because we'll have information. Like I was just watching a session from Katie Allred. Katie runs a church communications group of over 27,000 church communicators.
Wow.
It's a fantastic session. But not only are we going to give you that session, and she's talking about how you train your team to be evangelists, your congregation digital evangelists, but she talks about, man, you should do this and this and this. And our team's coming alongside and like, well, if she says do this, we're going to go ahead and create all those materials for you.
Yeah,
so not only are you going to get the ideas from Katie, but you're going to be like, okay, here's the emails. Here it is. Right. Here's the all the stuff.
That is so good. Go to Leaders.Church/conference to get signed up for the conference. That's September 29th and 30th. And it's going to set you on a new course. You're going to be ready to go. Is it fair to say that ideally this is going to be something they can take and implement this January?
Yeah, it will start this year going into Christmas.
Okay.
Then we'll go January, and then we'll just build from there. And then once you know how to make the most of the opportunities from a marketing communication standpoint, your team's going to know how to go through 2022 and 2023. Yeah. Obviously, things change, tools change.
Of course.
But you'll understand the principles. It will be big on, if you can do this once, your team will know how to do this for future years
as well. That's good. Any parting shots?
Man, we're just pumped about it.
I'm pumped about it.
It's going to be a different type of conference. It's not a conference as usual. It's all online.
What time does it start?
So 10 a.m. Central.
10 a.m. Central on the 29th. And it ends
4 p.m. Central. We'll wrap up, but we're
on the 30th.
We'll be we're pretty big on throwing parties, so there'll be some.
There we go. Ryan Wakefield, always full of surprises. So this is good. Ryan, really, thanks very much for hanging out with us, and thanks for watching this podcast. And certainly encourage you to go on to whatever platform that you listen and watch your podcast, and subscribe and spread the word to your friends. And go to Leaders.Church/conference, and you're going to get some great value on the 29th and 30th. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Make it a great one, and be blessed.
Hey, Jonathan here, real quick before you go. Everything in your ministry rises and falls on your leadership. So investing in your leadership is essential to staying healthy and growing the ministry. And that's why I want to invite you to join us inside the Leaders.Church membership. This online streaming service for pastors gives you access to more than 300 videos plus training material to level up your leadership and improve your ministry skills. If you'd like to do that, I want to invite you to go to Leaders.Church/boost. Again, that's Leaders.Church/boost. Well, thanks again for joining us on the Church Tips Podcast. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.